Hi, my name is Jessie, and today is Saturday, April 4th, and I am going to attempt to do a reading vlog this week. I will most likely only film on Saturday through Wednesday because I'm nervous about filming in front of family members, and my partner works from Saturday through Wednesdays. Anyways, I was just gonna get on real quick this morning and tell you about the first book I read this month, which I DNF'd. I started on March 31st because I finished my March books early and I wanted to get a head start. And I DNF'd it on April 1st because it wasn't for me. And that book was City of Sound and Light by Dave Walker. And the premise is really interesting. I love dystopian books. They've always been some of my favorites. I mean, I reread Divergent last summer. And anyways, so whenever I found the book, I was really excited to read it. I signed up to be able to receive offers about ARCs from ferociousreaders.com. And City of Sound and Light by Dave Walker was the first book that I actually requested an ARC for because it sounded really interesting. It was just about this girl named Tara, and her father is like really important in the world they work in. With the world they live in, he's really high up, he's official, he's important, and she manages to find out that someone's gonna die on the election day coming up. But just the way the story is told, it's really fast-paced, and fast-paced is normally good, but it's almost too fast to where you have no idea what's really going on, because when the book starts, it feels like you're just thrown into the middle of it, and there should have already been 50 to 100 pages before it to let you know what's really going on, and there's never really enough background for me. So I had to go ahead and DNF it. Sorry, I keep looking over here because my son's playing and I'm wanting to check on him. So sorry about that. And if I turn this way, the lighting's not as good. So sorry. Anyways though, I DNF'd it. It wasn't for me. It is going to be released on, I believe, May 22nd though, if you are interested in it. And I'll try to link a better description of it into the, what's it called? In the description box. The idea, like I said, the idea was really interesting, but it just wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. Like I said, the idea was really cool. I was really excited about it, and I started reading it, and it was too fast-paced. There wasn't enough detail. There wasn't enough background, and it just felt like I should have already known what was going on, but I couldn't because that was the end of the book. And I believe this is the first book he's publishing, the author, Dave Walker, but I might be wrong. So anyways, yesterday I started on April 3rd. Yesterday I started my next book for this month, and I'm reading Full Disclosure. And this is a book that I've had since, I believe, November or December, one of those months, because I requested it in a Book of the Month TBR, in a Book of the Month box. Alright, I'm back. Rowan was messing with something he shouldn't have been, and one of my cats got trapped in the bathroom, so I had to let her out. But anyways, like I said, I'm currently reading Full Disclosure, and I ordered that in, I believe, my December Book of the Month box, and whenever I ordered The Wives. And it's one that I've been looking forward to reading, but it's also one that I've been scared I wouldn't like because I was so excited to read it. So I haven't read it. The main things I knew going into it was that the main character was a teenager who was diagnosed with HIV. But I didn't really know a whole lot more than that going into it. Like, I knew that she was diagnosed with HIV, and that someone at her school was probably going to find out. And I started reading it. I'm about 9 chapters in, and I will say that I was not expecting them to talk about sex as much in this book as they are, which makes sense to be a teenager with HIV, I think, to, be interested, which all teenagers, I guess, are interested in sex at some point. But anyways, I wasn't expecting sex to be, like, talked about all the time, kind of. But I am so excited to keep reading it, and I'm hoping it goes well, or I'm hoping I'll enjoy it. But I plan on reading after Rowan takes his nap. I'm just trying to check in while he's awake, because if I only check in when he's sleeping, I'll never get to check in. But just want to check in, tell y'all about my first book, and I started my second book, and I'll let you know how it goes probably this afternoon, maybe. All right, bye. Hi, it's a few hours later. Rowan's had a nap. He's had his afternoon snack. I'm having whipped coffee. And I finished Full Disclosure during his nap. And it was really good. I really liked the whole message of the story. I liked reading a story about a teenager with HIV. I honestly don't think I've ever read a story or a book where the main character had HIV. So it was definitely an interesting perspective on my part, because I don't know a ton about most STIs. So it was really interesting on my part, getting to kind of learn a little bit about it, but from a fictional perspective. And I really like the story. I will go ahead and say that I'm probably going to rate it 3 or 4 stars. My real rating is probably 3.5, but I'm going to round it up to 4 stars on Goodreads. I don't think I can do half ratings, and I'd rather round it up than round it down. But anyways, there were some parts of the story that I really, really liked. I like it the way the main character, Simone, actually handled whenever she was outed at the end. She was outed as having HIV. She told a couple of people during the book, but even the people she told, I don't think she told because she wanted to. She told them because she felt she had to, because she was going to be outed. So, I don't like how she was outed, which, I mean, there wouldn't be a story if that didn't happen. But I like how she handled it in the end, because you can see she's struggling. It'd be easier for her to just run away and leave and start all over in new school. But instead of doing that, she with the help of her friends and her family, of course, finds the courage to stay and kind of tell some people off. And her speech to the parents who were in the wrong was really good. Like, instead of being mad at the person who outed her, the parents were all mad at her for something that's outside of her control. And so I like the way she handled that. And then I thought it was really interesting the way the person who outed her, and I will go ahead and say this is a spoiler, because I'm just going to go ahead and say who it is. And I'll try to remember to put something on the bottom of the screen. But anyways, the guy who outed her, his dad apparently had HIV and died from it because he didn't take his medicine properly. And so I guess he was, just angry and upset that someone could have the same disease as his dad, but live a happy and fulfilling life when his dad couldn't. But anyways, I like the way the author made it to like it wasn't just some random guy bullying her just to bully her. I mean, he still had no business blackmailing her and telling other people that she had HIV. And I'm glad he was at least suspended. I kind of wish there was some kind of harsher consequence for him. I don't know if there is anything realistically that could be done, but overall, I liked the book. It was good. I enjoyed it, and I'll probably start my next book tonight after Ron goes to bed. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to start The Wives or if I'm going to start my reread of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. But anyways, I will most likely not talk to you guys again until tomorrow, so see you later. Bye. Hey, so I know I already checked out and said bye for the day, but I just want to come back and I think better explain why I rated the Full Disclosure 3.5 stars instead of a solid 4. Like I said, I'll be rating it 4 on Goodreads, as I'd rather round up than down. Especially because I think the overall idea of this book was really good. It's just there were some parts I didn't like as much. Okay, so anyways though, the book was really good. I like that they talked about, I like that for the most part, sex was really positive. It was talked about in a positive light. The main character who had HIV, she asked good questions about how to have safe sex, and I think that's important. It's just sometimes I felt like the sex talk was more filler and just, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. Maybe it's just a me problem. But just the way she talked about sex, sometimes it was just too much. Or mentioning being horny. I just think, I don't know, maybe it's just a me problem. Overall, I liked the book, and just 3.5 stars feels right. I didn't love it, and there's aspects of it that just weren't for me. But I love the message it had. I love the fact that like the main character was able to stay classy but kind of still tell people where to shove it, and just I liked it. It was good. All right, bye. Hi, it is Monday, April 6th. I didn't film anything yesterday because I didn't read until about 8:30 or 9 last night. But when I did start reading, I started The Wives by Taryn Fisher. And this is my copy that I got in December from Book of the Month Club. But anyways, so far I'm enjoying this book. I'm about this far in. Sorry, I keep turning the camera. I'm sorry. I'll get better at that eventually. Sorry, my son's awake again because otherwise I'll never get to film and also keep a clean house if I only film when he's asleep. So I want to do this real quick and just tell you a little bit about the book. So at the beginning of the book, the main character, I can't remember her name. I know it's probably awful, but her name is Thursday. She talks about the significance of Thursdays and why Thursdays are so important to her, because that's the day that her husband gets to see her. He comes to, I believe she is in Seattle. Excuse you, bro. She's in Seattle, and her husband, I think her husband and his other two wives both live in Portland. So, she only sees him one day a week, and I think the other two wives have a rotating day, unless I misunderstood that. But, so she gets to see him, and she's excited, and she's talking about like how she does all this stuff to, I guess, keep him interested in her, like cooking and wearing, like, I guess, sexy clothes, stuff like that. And she also goes into the backstory of how they got together. And she was a nursing student getting ready to finish her nursing exams. When Jasper, get down. She was a nursing student getting ready to finish her nursing exams whenever he like met her at a coffee shop and started flirting with her, and eventually they went on a few dates, and around the fourth date he told her that he was married and that he and his wife wanted to stay married, but he still wanted to start a family, and his wife either couldn't or wouldn't, I don't remember which. So they did that, and it mentions her having to have an emergency hysterectomy, and they don't say why yet. And I kind of feel like it's almost like she probably had an ectopic pregnancy, but it hasn't been confirmed. At least not yet in the book where I'm at. And so the husband gets a third wife. Excuse me. Anyways, after the husband leaves, then the Thursday, like when the book starts, she's I think she's like trying to just straighten up his clothes and his part of where they keep them. And Rowan, you're going to fall. Will you sit down, please? And she finds a receipt for a doctor's visit, which is for the third wife. And she's the one who's currently pregnant. Alright, I'm back. Anyways, the third wife is pregnant, and which you can kind of tell that the main character is kind of jealous about that. But she gets invited by her husband to take a couple days off work and go to Portland and spend time with him there, and where he kind of did it to just say, hey, we're not gonna be able to go on that trip since Hannah, the third wife, is pregnant. So she feels let down. But while she was, and she gets mad and leaves. But anyways, while she was in Portland, she meets Hannah. She somehow ends up in her house, which Hannah is way too accepting to just invite some random stranger who's staring at her house in. But anyway, and also the main character is kind of way too trusting to just go into someone else's house like that. But anyways, that happened, and I'm sure it was mostly just convenience for the book. Sorry. But anyways, they do that, and they go into the house, they get to know each other. I don't think Hannah knows who she is. If she does, we find that out later, I guess. Alright, so anyways, Hannah and second wife, I guess is what the main character is, like start talking, and they exchange phone numbers and contact information. And then the next day, whenever the main character's getting ready to leave and go back to Seattle because she's done with this trip, it was a disappointment, she calls Hannah and asks her if she wants to go to lunch. Sorry, I'm turning so much, guys, just trying to get comfortable. Okay, that's fine. Anyways, though, she wants to go to breakfast, not lunch. And while they're there, they somehow got on the topic of like their husbands, and the main character can't say like, hey, we got the same husband right now. She says, oh, I found out my husband was cheating on me last night. And then she sees like marks on Hannah's arm again that look kind of like handprints. And this is like where I guess she's starting to realize like her husband may not be the same to all of his wives, which is kind of scary to think about someone who can change their personality like that between wives. For example, she realizes that Hannah says that Seth has been hiding her birth control pills, so that's how she ended up pregnant, and almost like she didn't want to be pregnant. He's back there feeding the dog his snacks. But anyways, so you're starting to find out that Seth isn't who he says he is. And then by the time I put the book up to go to bed last night, Seth had come back for his Thursday and had kind of apologized and said, like, we can still take the trip. I talked to Hannah, she's fine with it or whatever. But I don't know, he seems very manipulative, which I guess makes sense for who his character is supposed to be. And then I'm not quite sure how the main character ended up with him. Like, I get how, she said how, but like, she seems like she started off as such a strong, independent young adult, and then she just fell for him, and I guess that'd be the manipulation part. I don't know, because like she said at the beginning, like when she was 19 and early adult, she never really saw herself as being part of a polygamous relationship. That was never something that crossed her mind until she met Seth and got to know him and what he wanted and everything. Sorry, I gotta check on him a lot. But anyways, I don't know, like it's a lot going on, but it's interesting, and I'm hoping I'm explaining it well. I know I may have spoilers, and I'm really sorry. I'm trying to learn how to explain a book without spoiling it, but I may spoil it, and I'm really sorry. I'll probably put at the beginning of this video like a spoiler alert. Anyways, that's all I know about it so far. I will catch up with you guys either later today or tomorrow to tell you more. Hi, it is Tuesday, April 7th, and I was just coming on to update you guys about my reading progress for The Wives. I'm not much further in than I was yesterday when I last updated you guys, but I did have a couple things to say. First, yesterday, I forgot to mention the thing about Anna, the main character's best friend. I still can't remember her name. I'm sorry. I meant to double check before I got on. Her name is Thursday, but I forgot. But anyways, I wonder if like Seth came on to Anna at one point, because the main character says that like, hi bro. Did you say hi? Anyways, like Anna, the main character says like at first Anna was fine with Seth, but then eventually she stopped being fine. So I'm wondering if maybe Seth came on to Anna, or if just Anna realized that he was kind of manipulative. Either one. And then also, like, as I go further on, I'm really conflicted because I want to like the main character, but at the same time I don't know if I like her, because she was manipulated. I could tell, I think she was manipulated into her relationship with Seth, and she's still being manipulated, and she almost seems like the odd wife out, because it seems like, you know, the first and third wife are spending time together, which you can see whenever she creeps on Regina's dating profile, the first wife. So yeah, it's I'm not sure how I feel about it yet, because like I feel like the main character was definitely manipulated into her relationship with Seth, but also I'm not sure, just because of that, I'm still not sure if that's like the only reason I should like her, is I do feel bad for her, but also she keeps talking about like trying to win him over with sex and keep him with sex, and it's just, I don't know, like you can tell that the way the main character's mom, I guess, talked to her about relationships as a kid and how you keep them and stuff, wasn't necessarily healthy, and she definitely seems to be acting on those same thoughts her mom had. Or those are my opinions, and it's the way I'm interpreting it so far. I'm not quite halfway through the book yet though, but so those are my current thoughts. So, and I think I stopped on chapter 12 last night, but yeah. And that's all the update I have at the moment. I will talk to you guys again later. Alright, bye. Hi, it's a couple hours later, and I have read about 3 more chapters of The Wives while Rowan was asleep. And so I'm about this far through the book now. You can kind of see cleaning stuff in the background. My house is a little messy right now. Sorry-ish. Anyways, not a ton has happened. The main character's kind of, you know, been, I guess, catfishing one of the other wives on a dating site. And it's interesting. I still don't know how I feel about the main character, because she knows her husband's not cheating. She knows her husband has 2 wives. She knew this when she signed up for it. But then at the same time, he definitely seems like he was manipulative and not who he said he was. So it's just, I don't know, I have mixed feelings. Like, the idea is really interesting. It's just, she's not very likable. She's the main character. She's just like, at times, it's almost like she shames the other wives for how they act whenever she's, you know, she's just another wife to him, is probably. Like, she's always complaining about the first wife for, you know, not cooking or putting her work before her husband. And then I think her main complaint with the third wife is just, you know, she's jealous because she wanted to be the wife he had a baby with and then have it stop at 2. But she found out because apparently Seth had told her that he wanted the second wife, which was her, because the first wife didn't want kids. Okay, fine. But while catfishing the first wife says she wants kids, and instead of assuming her husband lied, the second wife, main character, seems pretty adamant on being that the wife is lying. So I don't know, I don't like her very much. Like, I feel bad for her too because, you know, she was manipulated into this situation, but also I don't like her. But that's where we're at now. I'm still not quite halfway through the book. I don't know if I'll get another good chance to update today. But yeah, I just thought I'd hop on, let y'all know what's going on. Rose giving the puppy kisses. Alright, I'll talk to y'all later. Alright, hi, it is Wednesday, April 8th. It's in the afternoon. I've had a busy morning. Rowan had his 15-month checkups and he got shots. And then he's being prescribed allergy medicine because he's got some bumps on his arms that his doctor thinks might be allergies. So we're gonna try that out and see if that fixes it. So we had to go by the pharmacy. We didn't get out. The only place we got out at was the doctor's office, but we did drive through the pharmacy. Anyways, I just wanted to let y'all know that I finished The Lives last night. And before I read the last half of the book, I was sure it was going to be a 3-star book. The first half was interesting, but definitely not my favorite. Like, it wasn't bad, it just, like, no one was likable at that point. But then once you got to like the second half, and all of a sudden Seth starts accusing her of being delusional, and is he being manipulative or is she actually delusional? And the whole first half of the book wasn't real. And so it was really interesting. I liked that part of it. I liked that twist. I didn't see it coming. Also, by the way, her name is Thursday. I don't know if I just missed that part during the first half of the book or if they didn't say it at all. So if I missed it, it's on me, but I wasn't gonna go back and read through several pages to find it. But anyways, her name's Thursday and her day is Thursday. But I thought that was really interesting. And then Regina ends up being kind of awful. And then Seth, I don't know how to talk about it without spoiling it, but also even with spoiling it, I don't know how to talk about it in a way that makes sense and is coherent without spoiling it even worse. I'm trying to figure it out, but I mean, it was really good. The second half of the book was really good. That bumped it up to 4 stars for me. But it was really good. I liked it. I liked it. Anyways though, so you know, the second half of the book essentially starts whenever she's going, like when she's put into like the psych ward. And everything was essentially triggered, what they want to say. It was all kind of triggered by the miscarriage of her baby that also, I forgot exactly what they said happened, but it was more than just a miscarriage. There's other issues that caused her to have an emergency hysterectomy, that's sad and crazy, and I know it can be really traumatic for people, especially if they actually wanted kids. And even if they don't want kids, I'm sure it's traumatic to, you know, lose an organ that you weren't necessarily planning on losing. Anyways though, so that was really interesting. I like how they use that. Like, it was definitely, if you, I guess, have any mental issue or mental health issues, I guess there could be a possible trigger warning for this book. Or if you dealt with miscarriage. Anyways though, I really liked it. The whole ending bumped it up because, like, whenever she gets out of the hospital, she thinks she's there with Seth at home, and she's trying to like sneak away from Seth, but she's still kind of delusional. Her body's still trying to go back to normal, like with the medicine kind of telling her what's really going on, I guess. I don't know how to describe it very well, I'm sorry again. But anyways, but it's really her dad, so like she thinks she's drugging Seth to go through his phone and to read his messages, but it's not really Seth, it's her dad that she drugged with her sleeping medicine. Excuse me, guys. So it's Seth, she thinks it's Seth, but it's really her dad. And she doesn't realize that till she's already like in the mental hospital again. Because she goes to Portland where the other wives live. Even though you find out that they're not, Seth's not really a polygamist. He's a serial cheater, but he's not a polygamist. You gonna play right there, bro? But anyway, so she goes to Portland, she goes to Portland to find them and get them to like back up her story. And she goes to Hannah's house, and Hannah pretends not to know her because I guess Seth warned her like that she was being stalked, essentially, because that's essentially what was happening. Thursday doesn't see it like that, but that's essentially what was happening. She was stalking them. She didn't realize it, but she was. But anyways, and so whatever, that happens. So then Thursday goes looking for Regina, the first wife, who he was never actually remarried to. They actually divorced because Seth cheated with Thursday, and then Thursday got pregnant, so Regina and Seth got divorced. Then Thursday had a miscarriage, so Seth left Thursday for Hannah, who he married, but then kept sleeping with Thursday still, essentially. That's the way I understood it. So Seth isn't a great guy, not a polygamist, still not a great guy, but you know, not a polygamist. He doesn't deserve what happens to him. I'm gonna go ahead and spoil it. Regina more or less sets Thursday up to, I guess, get back at her for cheating with Seth whenever Regina was married to Seth. And, excuse me, let me turn off his drums. So anyways, Regina sets Thursday up to, like, I guess, get caught stalking and, you know, being creepy and everything. And Regina's excuse is she knew that Thursday had issues with mental health, but she didn't realize how bad they were. Either way, she shouldn't have been egging it on. But Thursday brings her gun because she's convinced herself, and with the help of Regina, that she's been convinced that Seth is going to cause Hannah to have a miscarriage because Hannah's pregnant, which I think I mentioned before. Anyways, also Hannah was supposedly wife number 3, but really she's the second wife because Thursday never ever married Seth. And yeah. But anyways, so she brings her gun, which not the best decision ever, but whatever. And there ends up being an altercation eventually, and she shoots Seth, and I know that he apparently ends up paralyzed because of where the bullet hit his spine. So he doesn't deserve that. I don't know what he deserved really, because he was a serial cheater, so he probably deserved like at least a quick slap and then leaving and never speaking to him again. Maybe having his reputation like ruined-ish. I don't know, he's a serial cheater, so he's definitely not a good guy, but he didn't deserve to be paralyzed for it. But it was really interesting. And then the book ends with Thursday like trying to bash in Regina's head in the mental hospital whenever Regina comes to visit, and more. She says she's coming to like check on Hannah, but she's not Hannah, I'm sorry, Thursday, but she's more or less coming to gloat and just be glad that her mistress is away. But it's really interesting. It was really good, and it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be based on the first half of the book. So yeah, so this week reading was really well. What was it? Full disclosure was really good. I really enjoyed that book. It was 3.5 stars, but I bumped it up to 4 on Goodreads because I'd rather round up than down. I really liked it. I didn't love it, but I really did like it. And then The Wives, it was really, really good. The beginning was a little kind of iffy for me because I don't know, I didn't like the beginning very much, so that's kind of why it bumped down to 4 stars for me. But like I said, it was really good. I had really good reading this week. I probably will not talk to you guys again until Saturday. I'll start filming again on Saturday because my partner's weekends are Thursday and Friday. So that's whenever I take my weekend. But yeah, thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll hopefully see you guys next week. Hopefully I'll keep this up. Bye.